45 days ago, disaster struck. It didn't just strike, it burned. I was in Los Angeles working with Charlotte Tilbury and Sarah Palmyra speaking about Charlotte Tilbury's new products. And as a medical esthetician who likes budget beauty, I was actually diving into the products that I did like from the line and how their skincare is different than their makeup. Well, as we were getting ready, of course, we were doing our hair, we were doing our makeup because we were going to remove the makeup for this video. And my pretentious ass was like, I can do my hair myself. Like, I don't need somebody else to do it for me. Like, I'm an independent woman, right? Well, if you don't know me, I'm Cassandra the Klutz, and guess who dropped her curling iron? But I am proud to say that I caught it. You see, I have fast reflexes. This dexterity is phenomenal. The problem is I caught it and pinned it to my chest. So I literally caught this curling iron and my pinky finger pinned it to my chest, and lo and behold, I got a very, very gnarly burn. It started to bubble up. You can see it getting redder. I was just like, oh no. I was trying to like conceal it. It was a fun time, but I realized, oh, she is blistering. I assessed the wound. I knew that I didn't need to go to, the doctor or the emergency room. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take care of this because I do not want this to scar. There are other wounds that I've gotten, such as this one from trying to pull skis out of a basement that ended up just being a really gnarly scar for me. There's also one, I swam down a waterfall and I hit my chin. And so I have a scar on my chin. My skin does tend to scar. Also, acne. And when this happened, like this was a huge burn and I was like, I do not want this to scar. I'm going to do everything I can to protect it. And lo and behold, I knew that doing something was better than doing nothing. Like I knew it would help, but I feel like this turned out way better than I was expecting. Like I fully expected to have like a large scar here. It's only been 45 days and I think this is still going to improve. And again, graphic trigger warning, there are some gross pictures in here, but I want to show you the progression of this wound healing and kind of what happened. So first thing that happened when I got this burn, I ran my ass to CVS and I got myself an antiseptic cleanser. This is just to make sure that it is clean, there's nothing nasty in there, etc. And I immediately decided to cover it. Problem was, I covered it with a Band-Aid that I didn't realize had latex in it, and so I had a gigantic reaction. So days after, I have this wound that's starting to heal. All of a sudden, I'm having this Band-Aid reaction, and my wound is starting to pus. And this was when I was like, Cassandra, you need to do something about this fast. So I'm using this cleanser, I'm making sure it's staying clean every day, trying to kind of clean the pus off. And at this time, I'm using Solimo jelly, like just most basic thing you can imagine, up until the wound really starts to kind of heal. I then was supposed to get on a plane to Australia, and I was like, I don't want this to get infected. And didn't have time to go to the store. So literally the only Band-Aids that I had were the ones with the latex. I land in Australia and I open up the Band-Aid. I open up my phone and I call TyTyYY. It was a disaster. It was a disaster. And that's when I said, Cassandra, you gotta do something different about this. So went to an Australian supermarket at like 1 in the morning, decided to get a Band-Aid that does not have latex in it. And I started to care for the wound. And slowly but surely the wound, the skin bubbles, it kind of peels off and it's just an open flesh wound as opposed to an open pussing bubbly flesh wound. And that is when I actually started getting into the skincare that I think made the biggest difference for me. Now, while I was in Australia, I was learning about ocean conservation. I was hanging out with Biossance and JD Dombrowski. If you don't know him, he's a skincare addict and marine biologist. He is amazing. We were having a really great educational time. But while I was there, I was trying to make sure that I was keeping my wound covered from the sun as well as protected at night. And there are literally 3 things that I used that have taken this. Like, I feel like this is 90 out of 100 right now. This is absolutely unreal. I'm shocked that this isn't worse just because of the way that my body, normally responds to burns and pigment. The first thing that I did was apply my motherfucking sunscreen because this is essential. And I specifically chose a mineral sunscreen because I didn't want anything to kind of get in this wound. Even if I was wearing like a chemical sunscreen elsewhere, mineral sunscreen was right here. This is from Community 66. This is brand new. I actually got to try the sunscreen before it came out. So this is what I was using. It's packaged in a different container, but it's the Everyday Mineral Sunscreen SPF 30. And I was alternating between this and the Biossance sunscreen. The Biossance sunscreen I was mainly using on my face and my body, and then this I was kind of putting right here. And this was so essential. Sun damage can actually cause wounds and acne to scar worse. And so keeping this protected was absolutely essential. This sunscreen also happens to have probiotics and hyaluronic acid, so it was hydrating to the wound. And this mineral sunscreen, oh look, it's still got sand on it. This mineral sunscreen ended up being really, really good. I wouldn't say it is sheer. I would say it's like an 8 to 10 out of sheerness, but protecting this and doing it with a non-chemical / non-organic sunscreen was really key to making sure I wasn't burning either from the sun or like it wasn't burning and irritating me. Now at night, that's when things got interesting. You see, the Biossance eye cream is one of the eye creams that is very expensive, but Dr. Shaw has recommended to me, and he did get me on this. Now, do I use it under my eyes? No, I use it all over my face, and I use it on my burn. The coolest thing about this is that this does have marine algae, which is extremely nourishing and healing to skin, and this also has squalane derived from sugarcane and not from sharks. I absolutely love this product, but I wish it wasn't an eye cream. I wish this was a face cream. The red algae in here is so good, and remember, this algae, that's exactly what La Mer is charging $500 for and trying to get people to part with their hard-earned money. And yes, it's a great ingredient, it's very healing, but you can get it for less expensive. But I had this eye cream, as you can see, like I've almost used the entire thing, and I started taking these little dabs of this and rubbing it on this wound, and this ended up being so helpful. It was nourishing to the wound, it kept it hydrated, the ingredients in here are great, and combined with my antibacterial cleanser, I was keeping it clean, but also keeping it moist. A lot of people think that you should dry out a wound. You should not dry out a wound. You want to keep it moist but clean. And this ended up, even within like the first 3 to 7 days of using this while I was there, I was like, whoa, this is looking a lot better already. There's one picture that I took in a swimsuit where you can kind of see how the wound was progressing and healing. I did have sunscreen on the wound in that picture, and I was still like, you know, when I wasn't taking the picture, I like had a towel over me to protect myself from the sun, and I had a hat. I had a cute little floppy hat. This is one of the best hats ever. I got it from Amazon, and it has a little chin strap. Anyways, this eye cream, I don't recommend as an eye cream. Use it all over your face. This was wonderful to help heal my burns. This was amazing. At the same time, I was also trying this out. Debbie Ryan is a celebrity that we reacted to, and she was using this little solar wave thing. It's basically an LED thing, and I thought that this was gonna be shit. I was ready to tear this apart because LED is very hard to do. You have to get it at the right wavelength, and then you have to get it to penetrate. It has to be strong enough. And yes, there is a bunch of science about the red LED light, specifically in that 650 to 700 nanometer range. It helps with collagen induction and creating more collagen. It helps with inflammation. It's wonderful for the skin and the structure, but I didn't think that this was going to really do anything. And you know, it's the size of like a writing pen, so I was like, sure, I'll take this with me. Fun fact, one of our beautiful butterfly members handmade this pen. Isn't this cool? I met her at an Ordinary pop-up store in Los Angeles, and she made this for me, and it's so pretty. Anyways, oh my god, don't get sentimental about writing utensils, Cassandra. This is the same size as a beautiful writing utensil, and so I took it with me. And I actually started pressing this right here to this for about 5 to 10 minutes a day. And this ended up being so freaking helpful. I really think that it was either this, or maybe a combination of the two that has completely transformed this. Because I've never used algae on a wound before, and I've never used LED on like a healing wound before, at least not on myself. On other people after medical microneedling, yes, but I've never used LED on my own like fissured skin. And literally, I've been just kind of doing this. It's actually quite relaxing. This works very, very well. I haven't noticed any deduction in wrinkles. If anything, it kind of helped to truncate some of my little acne spots that I was getting around my hormonal cycle and my periods, because I have 2. Fun fact, if you didn't know. Now you know. But these 2 things have been absolutely phenomenal. And literally, by doing 3 things, sunscreen, LED light, and this, in 45 days, I have gotten like an open flesh wound to basically look non-existent. Now, of course, I didn't isolate my variables, so there could have been other things thrown into the mix. I think it's also important to note that I am vegan and plant-based, but I do eat a good amount of protein. Specifically, I love Impossible proteins. I love the little Beyond Beef sausages as well, the little breakfast sausages. Now, I did not increase my protein intake at this time, but as someone who tries to eat a balanced diet, who is a nutritionist and a personal trainer, even though I don't work in the field of personal training anymore, I know that it's important to make sure that your diet is balanced. And you know, I'd be drinking my kombuchis, I'd be eating my protein. Does that help? Absolutely. If you are, you know, not eating a nutritionally balanced diet, your skin does not heal as well. We know that. If you don't have vitamin C, your body cannot produce collagen. We know this. So thinking outside the box, what else could have contributed to this? The other thing is that I did try to keep it protected from the sun with clothing. In some of the photos, you can see that I actually chose dresses and things that were a little bit more high-necked to protect this. And one of the best things that I've been wearing nonstop are these, again, from Amazon. I'm literally addicted. These little tank tops are like 20 bucks, and I literally have these in like every single color. I love these so much. They look super cute, they are super comfortable, and as you can see, they literally protect you from the sun. So all of this is protected because, you know, if you're wearing a t-shirt or a v-neck, all of this is exposed. you know, and you can have sun damage or issues. I feel adorable when I wear these. I love the way that I look inside of them. I love how it makes my little butterfly necklace pop, and it protects this area that for most people is constantly exposed. And this and the hands and the neck, like these are the first areas that show signs of aging. And I feel like this has made such a difference for me. And then, you know, I do wear cover swimsuits. You can see them in some of the pictures. It's basically a UPF protective swimsuit. That's obviously better than being out in the sun and not protected. But like the argument is, I'm shocked that even while being in the sun, you know, UPF doesn't protect 100% of the rays, neither does this shirt. I was really shocked that this has healed up so freaking well. And I really do attribute it to these three things. Now, it is anecdotal, of course, meaning it's just my personal experience of what happened, but I really feel like these made a difference. And if you do have a burn, obviously take care of the flesh wound first, but as it's healing, make sure that you are keeping it moist. Consider doing LED therapy if you have like a little LED device at home. Fucking seaweed, this Biossance eye cream, like I love you, but not because you're an eye cream. And then sunscreen, making sure that we're keeping that sunscreen on, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize how bad scars can get if sunscreen isn't provided, you know, when that wound is healing. And of course, this has hyaluronic acid, this has vitamin C. We know that vitamin C and hyaluronic acid help with wound healing. I just didn't expect my burn to turn out this good. So it has officially been 45 days. Actually, I think today would actually make day 46 technically, but this has healed up phenomenally and there's a little bit of hyperpigmentation left. Now I might start switching these out. I might actually start working on some acids to kind of exfoliate, or even like some niacinamide or some hydroquinone, just because there's a little bit of discoloration. But compared to what it was and compared to what it could be, this is so good. Like I'm like really shocked by my own biology at how well this turned out. So that's what happened. If you actually want a full story of what happened with Charlotte Tilbury and how I burned myself and to share a little bit more about that, more than happy to do so. Oh, if you want the story of how I broke my foot while climbing a waterfall with JD Dombrowski in Fiji, I can share that with you as well. Skiing with Ulla Henriksen in Utah, I think I have like a rash on my back still from that. The skis stabbed me in the back. I tumbled. Long story for another day. Wow, Cassandra, you're really a klutz. Okay, I'm gonna go be klutzy elsewhere. Take care of your burns, wear your sunscreen, stay hydrated both orally and topically, and always remember to be beautiful inside and out, and don't overspend money on shitty eye creams. Make sure that you get good ones that actually have decent ingredients and just put them all over your face and your burns and your body, yada, 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 yada. Overall, I love you and I can't wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.